Okay, good morning, everyone. Today we start our first teaching session. So let's talk about the policy of this class. So we have a textbook and we have some reading, but most of your evaluation is through your products. So as this Chinese proverb you can read, I listen, I forget. I see, I may remember, but when I do, I understand. So for having a better performance in this class and learning the concept, you need to do a lot of hands-on experiences. Having said that, I already put the product key for Tableau, so you can go your assignment 3 and activate it on your system. So from this week, we might have some weeks that we go some experiment through Tableau, and we would do some visualizations, and it's the way that you learn some part of visualization and how to work with Tableau. So look at this table. So it shows some county statistics in the state of Massachusetts last year. So you might get some idea what is going on, but not too much. It takes a lot of time. You need to look over each record, and maybe you can compare with other counties. So it's even like Massachusetts, New York, and let's see what happens if you do for whole country. So it's very hard to do a comparison to see which part might be problematic, especially if you're if you are in a government agency. So let's say some counties you have a high rate of COVID, maybe there is some issues, or maybe there is a new variant of COVID, so you need to do some countermeasures. But with the tables, you can do that and find problems, but it's much harder and takes a lot of time. Versus in this dynamic map, you can easily find some problematic counties. Maybe from what I see here, last year, there is some issues in Southern Carolina, maybe Idaho, some part of Louisiana. So it's like just a few seconds, you can understand what is going on. So this looks an easy map, but the skills that needed to do this map is not simple. So you need to have some knowledge of how to do a simple map. Like iPhone, it looks very simple and easy to use, but for Apple company, it takes a lot of effort and expertise to give you such a simple tool. So, as a summary, in the descriptive part of this course, you learn how to turn such a table or such raw information to something which is more informative, and basically you can transfer the knowledge in much better way, and probably your manager can make a decision much better and much more effective. Okay, so we have a video, but I think I should share the sound first. So this guy, Dr. Eric Siegel, he has a PhD, and he's talking about analytics. So he has some expertise in data analytics, and now he presents his domain. Just look.
Here's a little song about predictive analytics.
Okay, I think I should share my. So let's see if I can share it with the class. Yeah, hopefully now you can hear better.
If you want to learn, you gotta listen to the lyrics. Listen to it twice, maybe you can memorize it. It goes a little something like this. Here's a little song about predictive analytics. If you want to learn, you gotta listen to the lyrics. Listen to it twice, maybe you can memorize it. It goes a little something like this.
I can predict your every move. Just give me all your information. Yeah, provide me the data to improve, and I'll apply the computation.
People don't dig data. Boring's the sentiment, crapped out by technology, electronic excrement. But my theory is the data is experience, serious, and deep inside the data is the key. See, predictive analytics learns from the data you supply and predicts if you will click, buy, lie, or die. It ain't astrological, it's math, it's methodological. So better pay attention, cause my flow is pedagogical.
Predict your every move. Just give me all your information. Yeah.
Who's your data?
Provide me the data to improve, and I'll apply the computation.
I love it when you call me Big Data.
Predictive analytics can help you with decisions. You can call, mail, credit, or hire with precision. On law, love, and life, you can prognosticate whom to investigate, incarcerate, set up on a date, or medicate. Charlie Brown never gets his kicks. That's why every old dog needs a brand new trick. If you get sick of chasing sticks or clicks with just a quick fix, you need to learn to predict.
I can predict your every move. Just give me all your information. Yeah.
Who's your data?
Provide me the data to improve, and I'll apply the computation.
I love it when you call me Big Data.
Anticipating my mood, boy, that's totally rude. 'Cause you would predict anything that moves. But now I see what you mean. I could have never foreseen. Data scientists are the sexiest geeks.
The method is to modify your models incrementally, tweak the technique, keep improving it incessantly. The model is trained, machine learning is attained, make it rain. Pop the champagne. If it fails the model bit it, simply put it over fit it. Take a minute, flip your bits and quit it. To fix risk and quickly pick Netflix top hits that stick, you need predictive analytics.
Predict your every move. Just give me all your information. Yeah.
Who's your data?
Provide me the data to improve, and I'll apply the computation.
I love it when you call me Big
I
Data.
can predict your every move. Just give me all your information. Yeah.
Who's your data?
Provide me the data to improve, and I'll apply the computation.
I love it when you call me Big Data.
Yeah, so actually he summarized what you would learn in predictive part. For the predictive analytics, you also sometimes visualization helps a lot, and later you understand how and why. But actually, if you can do some presentation like this, probably get A in this course, I guess. So, okay, so this is another presentation. So there's some medical student, and they are presenting their dissertation. And just look, this is another way of presenting some serious topic. So, but by the way, in the previous presentation, he didn't say, I'm doctor. He did a little bit of show off. He put his like certification, I'm a doctor, something like that. But it's just a little, but he mostly, his show off mostly was about his product, which was that presentation. Okay. So this is another student presenting their research. So they are doing a data analytics project for heart. So this is, you hear a beep, beep. It's about heart valve.
The three leaflets of the aortic heart valve open and close to ensure blood flows in one direction through the heart. The leaflets of diseased valves may stiffen or leak, leading to heart failure.
I know my way, know my star. No one fears who we are. Always near, always far. I know my way, know my star. No me diga lo que viene más allá. Oh, 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 la marina va para allá. Oh, 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 la marina de Bahía. No me diga lo que viene más allá. Oh, 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 la marina va para allá. Oh, 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 la marina de Bahía. Oh, marina. Oh, my love. Oh, marina. My heart is beating like a drum. 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 I know my way, know my star. I know what fears who we are. Always near, always far. I know my way, know my star. No me diga lo que viene más allá. Oh, 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 la marina va para allá. Oh, 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 la marina de Bahía. Oh, marina. Oh, my love. Oh, marina. My heart is beating like a drum. My heart is beating like a drum. My heart is beating like a drum. My heart is beating like a drum.
Pata is the name of a dance we do down Johannesburg way. And everybody starts to move as soon as Pata Pata starts to play.
You guys are too happy.
Cool presentation, aren't they? Okay, so there is some takeaways from this too. So first of all, I mean, actually we have some practices, but just look at these two. You should have a good communication with your audience. Sometimes sense of humor helps. So they could just put so many sophisticated topics about data science or predictive analytics, heart valves, but maybe after 2 minutes you get so bored. So they try to have better communication by including some dance, some sense of humor, those kind of. So these are actually helpful. Also, for some of you that English is not your first language, maybe for better communication, you need to practice more. So doing a lot of practices might be very helpful. And also we have heard from some recruiters that sometimes they could be nice about your skills, but if they cannot communicate with you in the job interview, they may not very interested to hire you. So because this is a soft skills that they maybe is much harder for them to improve your soft skills, but they can have some classes and or send you some training that you get some harder skills like Tableau, Power BI. So also, as you seen both of them, some of the PhD, MD students, one of them was a professor. They had a little bit of show, but not too much. So what I mean, so let's say in your final project, you shouldn't say, okay, I did Tableau, Power BI, I have this knowledge, I did that, I'm like such a person. So that's okay and could be good at some point, but people look at your product. And you might remember, like some minutes ago, I talked about iPhone. So they might have like so many scientists, like even Samsung or other cell phone provider. All of them are very educated people, but you just buy the one that is a better product in your point of view. Also, visualization and cool graphic helps, which you learn in this course. So later on, we have some other examples, and also we talk about how to present and how to communicate later, but this is just some takeaways from these two videos. Any questions so far? I think the first session I talked about some deliverables. So if your major is not business analytics, that's, I think, it's better to include some friends from other majors, or even it's better be very diverse. For first deliverables, so you need to just find the data set. So as I said, shouldn't have a few columns. It should have some at least columns, because you do a data-driven analysis, and each column could represent a variable, and also number of observations should be very low. And again, if your major is not analytics, maybe you might have different ideas about what you want to do. So that's okay. So by second due date, you also learn predictive analytics. So it helps you a lot. What should be requirements of your final project. So that's totally fine if you change topic even by the third due date. I've received, still I'm receiving so many questions about class participation. So the point is we should be fair for everyone. If you think your attendance, in-person attendance, is like has some conflict with some university, state, or federal regulations, or maybe it endanger your health, maybe you can. I think I already sent you an email, so maybe you have a document shows that your immune system is fragile. That's okay. So we can let you to hold the course over Zoom, but we cannot just somebody say, okay, like today this was cold, or I'm far from campus. So it's not fair because some of your classmates come to the class and they have in-person attendance. So we just want to be fair for everyone. Okay, so let's talk about so even some of you, which I think they are over Zoom right now, because of 5G issues, they couldn't be on campus today. They flight from overseas is rescheduled or at least postponed. So that's something that's okay. So there's something that is out of your control. That's fine. We understand. Okay, so again, this course has three major parts. It has some overlaps. First, descriptive analytics, which visualization is a big part of it. And second part, predictive analytics. By end of part 2, you pretty much understand what should you do for your final project. So again, no worries if some of the things I'm talking in this next week's could be a little foreign for you, but and last part usually is not related to projects. I think last few years, just few of you has a project related to prescriptive analytics, which is the last part. But the last part could be in your final exam, as I already posted the last semester final exam. So I think if you are from MBA program, the final exam could be very easy for you to solve. But for analytics student, no worries, you learn how to solve that type of problems. I think some of them we talked last time. Okay, this is a Tableau environment. So again, I posted the product key, activation key for Tableau. So if you already installed, you can just go there and copy the product key and reactivate your Tableau. So it's valid by the end of semester and limited to the number of students that we have in this course. So KNIME, later on, you learn KNIME, which is mostly for predictive analytics. Is also is very good for students that have different background because it helps you to do predictive analytics much easier. If you are again from business analytics or other majors, you can just use Python and all. That's totally fine. You don't have to use KNIME. And the Lingo and Excel are the softwares that we cover for the last part. Okay, let's look at the history. So the topics that you learn in this course started mostly early 1970s, like how to support decisions. So how to use computers to make more informative decisions. And from 1970s, we have a stream of data that helps for decision maker, usually management level staff, to have some better idea of what could happen in future and what is the most efficient way of reacting or being proactive for the future. So in 1980s, database systems or relational database management systems and enterprise resources planning softwares and tools introduced. I think you already have some courses about SQL. So SQL comes from that era. For this course, maybe you use some of your SQL knowledge for data management. So in any data-driven project that you try to help or try to support a decision, so you might need somehow doing some data management-based works. Later on in 2000s and 2010s, as you see, more sophisticated data comes up, like non-relational databases, text mining. Even we have some cool project about text mining later on this course. And basically the term of business intelligence coined at that time. So it's after 2000. And more recently, after 2010, we have more stream of data. So, and much, basically the production of data and types of data is just increasing so rapidly. One of them is social networks, social media. So for the after 2010 is mostly related to another course that I'm teaching this semester, which is big data program and management. In some part of that, we connect to Twitter and get tweets data and do analysis. So what you see in this course is something from 1970s to early 2010. So still, it doesn't mean nobody used, like for example, look at the 1970s. So AI came to introducing that decade, but it doesn't mean nobody stopped using, people stop using AI. AI is still used. But as you see, all the topics that you're going to learn or practice in this course is relatively new. It's maybe is about like 40, 50 years ago. So it's not too much old. It's not like mathematics that like, I think first mathematics books maybe published like 2000 years ago, something like that. But so this topic is at most 50 years old. Okay, let me read definition of business intelligence, an umbrella term that combines architecture, tools, database, analytical tools, application, and methodologies. So it's almost said everything. So basically, if I summarize, so you learn some, you use some your previous knowledge in data management. So you get data from different sources. It could be an already clean database, or as I said, for tweets, if you want to do Twitter analysis, maybe you have to connect to a Twitter website and download the tweets and process them, or any type of data. So it's stuff from data management, and you do some descriptive analytics. You look over your data. You try to find what is the problem, what could be some opportunities. And then you have those ideas from in the predictive section. You find the correlation between some factors, and maybe at the end you do some predictions. So you want to see what could happen in the future. So these are almost, it seems to be almost everything and nothing. But I'm pretty sure you have other courses that you, for each topic you go in depth. So in this course, we don't go in depth of every topic, but we almost cover everything. So these are some general topics that you might consider for your final project. So any application that requires some decision making. For example, let's say you want to do a predictive analytics and do a project in a stock market. Maybe you make a model that predicts if a certain stock, or let's say even Bitcoin, goes up or down. So you can make a decision: is it good to buy that stock or Bitcoin or cryptocurrency today, or sell it? So you make a decision: buy versus make, or like let's say. I'm pretty sure even if you just came to US, you already use Uber or Lyft, or I think it's around the world. So for Uber, they should make a decision how to send a car in the most efficient way, closest car, and also they have some consideration for the price. So when you order, so these are all the topics that might be your project, even some security, some privacy. So, for example, in a bank, they have tons of transactions. Some of them could be fraud. So they cannot hire, or it could be actually they could, but it could be very expensive if they hire so many people to just look at all the transactions. Instead, they have some predictive models that look at the transaction characteristics, and they try to predict what could be a fraud. And let's say they find a fraud situation, or they have highly suspected the transaction is fraud, they report it to some staff, then a human look at that transaction. So generally speaking, analytics represent the combination of computer technology, management science techniques, and statistics to solve real problems. Which I think we already talked about those problems. So we are not talking about the business analytics major. We're just talking about we generally talk about analytics. So what makes analytics so important? Why there is so many majors? It could be data science, business analytics, even MBA, statistics, even somehow computer science. There are so many majors, and why you pay a lot of time and money to learn these topics. The answer is that is growing so fast, and that is very valuable. So if I go back to the simplest example I gave it to you, let's say you want to be a trader in the stock market. So which stock should you buy? Which stock, when you should sell or buy them? So all of these decisions could bring a lot of loss or profit for you. Then now just consider organizations like Amazon. They have hundreds of thousands of people. So every decision for them is valuable. For you as a single person, a buy versus sell decision could cost like some $1,000, but for an organization like Amazon could be millions or billions of dollars. And that's the smallest one. Amazon almost is the biggest example. So between these two, basically wide example, there's so many other companies that need people with the analytics knowledge. Because at the end, everyone, basically the goal of management majors, either finance, MBA, business analytics, you name it. I know there's so many other, or marketing, manager make decisions and how they use data. So they either should have the knowledge or they should hire some people to process the data and help them to make better decisions. Okay, again, this is the pathway. We start from descriptive with some visualization, predictive, and prescriptive. So in descriptive, we see what is the current situation. In predictive section, we understand what could be in future or what is the relationship between some factors. In prescriptive, it helps you to understand how to do something. Like, as I said, like Uber example, how to send those cars. Or for Amazon, how to send your trucks and do it in the most efficient way. So having said that about cases, there is some good case studies in your book, case study 1.2 and 1.3. This is your assignment 4, actually, which I think we have 2 or 3 weeks. So read Silveris and Siemens cases, and you can understand what was their problem, why they used business intelligence, and what was their benefits. We discuss about these 2 case studies later, but please just spend a little bit of time, read them. So later on, like next week, when I talk about them, it makes more sense for you. Any questions so far? Okay, I think maybe, you know what, from next class, this class will be more entertaining, but some class I have to do talk about some basics. But it's very funny. Some of you have closed eyes, so it looks it looks scary to me. Okay, so some I emphasize the predictive analytics because some of you haven't had any predictive analytics classes before, and also could be a most important part of your project. So basically, we have some research questions about why and what will happen in the future. I talk about just stock market trading. So what could happen for tomorrow's of a specific stock? There is some tools or enablers like data mining, forecasting, some web mining tools, market basket analysis, and outcomes is you predict something in future. Like again, I go back to the easiest problem, which is the stock movement. Is it goes up or down? And again, prescriptive, you learn how to do those things, how to do some transportation plan or basically designing some certain transportation plans. So these are all applications. So no matter which major you are, either marketing, MBA, you might have some background in computer science or operation and healthcare. Just see which kind of data is more interesting to you. And even from now, you can just make your groups. So you can even, as you know, we have a chat room. So if you can even post over the chat room and say, okay, I want to do a project, who could want to join me? So no worries if it's hard for you to find or talk with each other during COVID in the class. So use the chat room. So bottom line is data is valuable, and we learn some techniques how to process and basically how to understand data and how to provide some suggestions. So you need to understand the data. You need to spend a good amount of time to see what is the problem, what could be the association between factors, and maybe sometimes even you need to process the data. Maybe there is some issues in your data that you need to take care of. For example, it could be some outliers. But if you have a less amount of data, like here, probably your decision is very different when, oh, what happened? I think for me it's a little weird. Sorry. So probably when your data, oh my God. So let me just, okay, now. So probably when you have less data, your analysis is much more different from your whole picture. So just keep in mind, let's say you want to do some prediction in future and your accuracy is very low. One could be you have your tools or your models are not good. One could be you don't have enough data. If you don't have enough data, probably you don't have a good decision. Okay, now for me it's different from you. So another challenge is most of the data is not structured right now. Just a small portion of your data is structured. So unstructured data could be a picture, movie, like whatever you put in the chat room. So what I mean, they are not structured. It means there is no column and rows. You just have a pile of the data. So processing that types of data could be a little challenging. So all the models that you learn works over structured data. There is some certain columns and rows. There is some techniques that you convert those some of those unstructured data to a structured format, which we practice some of them, like for example in the tweets example. So you have so many tweets, so we convert them to some rows and columns. Then we can apply some AI models on top of that. So just keep in mind, if your data is unstructured for your final project, it might be a little more challenging because you have one extra step to convert your data to something structured. But that could be a good project. You learn something extra, because even that conversion or reformatting is also challenging. So again, I go back to the first Chinese proverb that I posted in your slides. When you do practice, you learn. Okay, let's talk about some cool examples. So from this, oh my God. Okay, so let me stop and do it because it seems for me it's different from you. Okay, let me stop and do it again. Sorry, there's a little bit of technical issues. Okay, so in this picture, which sign brings more attention for you? Yes, so it's kind of different font size, color, and actually maybe it's more important. So it's the reason they design the way that draw more attention, because probably if you don't stop, maybe you hit someone. So look at this one. Which one drag more attention? Yeah, maybe look at some, and again, the airplane is just tugging. So again, drag your attention, but when you want to focus on the airplane, it drag your attention to the sun. So just keep in mind there is some artistic part of visualizations that you need to keep in mind. So we don't teach you how to be artists, but art is very important for your visualizations. So you need to have. You can look at the other good examples about how expert people do visualization, so you can understand which combination of shapes and colors might be more practical or better for your visualization. Don't use small fonts or like cold colors, so you lose people's attention. So here, how you see sign? Can anyone tell me? Pardon me? Perennial cell, you said? Maybe it's zigzagging somehow, and then that one drags more attention. Maybe the color and also font size. So again, artistic part of visualization is important, but it's not what we teach. So you can look at some good examples. So what about here? Which one drags your attention? Nothing. Yes, random balloons. For some of you might be, but I think for majority of you, maybe you're just wandering around. So there's so much of similar thing together. But I think here the red balloon drags your attention. So colors are important. The pattern. So you see the importance. Do you remember 2015 Miss Universe? So is there anyone who wants to explain what happened? Yeah, wrong name. Yeah. So Steve Harvey, which is a very, he's very famous. I'm not sure if you have seen his shows, but so he announced a different winner. So first, it was I think I cannot pronounce well, but she was from Colombia. So Steve Harvey announced that she's the winner. So everybody just congratulating. She was very happy, but He understood he made a mistake. So Miss Colombia was not the winner. Miss Philippines was the winner. So she has an artificial smile right now, but I think she's just ruined inside. Yeah. So after the camera was off, she was just crying. Everybody just sad. So look at Steve Harvey's card. I know there is a larger font for the Miss Universe, but I think he was under a lot of pressure, and maybe so many people is talking to his headphones, and he couldn't concentrate well. So still, it was his fault. But what if they have a better card? So maybe if he had this card, maybe the probability of mistake could be much less. Look at this one. So we see a bar chart. It's about talking about percentage of children with a married stay-at-home mother with a working husband. So too many text, too many figure. Maybe sometimes you don't have to visualization. Maybe just a number and being more simplistic is better. These are some suggestions. I don't say don't use it, just use this, but these are just one example of how to simplify your visualizations. Look at this one. It's about sale in different years for different types of products. Very complicated. You need to spend at least half an hour to figure out what happened. For which items your sale was better, for which one you have a lower sale. But this is actually out of Tableau. So here in just a few seconds, you can understand which category, which year you have a better performance. Maybe if you're from marketing, this is like year 2014 or 2012. Maybe you want to make a campaign for consumer products in 2012 because your performance is very bad, or maybe you just discontinue those items. So these figures is very helpful to make decisions. Also, on top of being simplistic, also sometimes just keep in mind you can be biased. So here you see this is from Fox News, and they are talking about President Bush tax cuts expires. And I think this video was made during